raise another man's kid.
You are your mama
It's
child.
torture.
Why?
Because you're pretending to be something that you're not. You're raising a child that doesn't belong to you. That's rough. I
Like,
don't care
you
what
talking to
nobody
you?
say. Now it gets done, and thank God we do have men who will do that. But psychologically, is detrimental to your health.
If you're with a woman and she does have a child, but the father is active and is
You're
there.
mature, you can handle it. It's still uncomfortable.
Okay.
You pulling up in the car, they come to the door. She's really nice to him. No, he don't pay child support. He don't do nothing.
No, he pays child support.
No, I'm just saying, if he does, I'm creating my scenario.
Oh, okay.
And he's in the living room watching TV. She hear, okay, bye. Return the kids. Coming back. Okay, bye. It still hurt, but you have to be so mature. My thing is, why put yourself through that?
So I was actually just saying how he was recently going viral for saying something very similar on another pod or interview, whatever it may have been. And I did see it, and I thought about commenting, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to comment because I genuinely don't care. And then...
Did you type it, then erase it?
I didn't even type it. I thought it.
That shit.
My thumb started to move, and then I just swiped up, right? So, but then the next morning, and maybe God wanted me to say this. The next morning, right? I was bringing the kids to school, and he was on Breakfast Club with Charlemagne.
Recently?
Right after that, yeah. Right after that interview. And now I don't respect TK. Okay? Now I see, here's my thing. I don't mind you saying what you say. But now I feel like it's cowardly. TK showed a bit of cowardness on the Breakfast Club because he backtracked essentially and just was kind of downplaying it, saying it's just a comedic approach, To that actual thing. And now I realize that
What was his statement?
Let me finish.
Oh,
now I realize he reiterated the same thing years later, because that was what, a year or two ago?
Yeah.
So this is something that you genuinely believe, But then when you go onto these big platforms, you kind of downplay it. You start saying it's more so a comedic approach. And, it's not necessary. I don't necessarily mean that all the situations. I'm just speaking for like one specific situation. But now I don't like that. So TK, I want you to tighten up. That's what I'm going to say. Now, in regards to what he's saying, I do believe that it is a weight that is hard to maneuver. And I could understand that, especially if you are foreign to even having kids, right? Let's say you never had a kid and now you're going to take on somebody else's kid. I can understand the stress that you would come across trying to parent that, but it's almost like a practice child. You know what I'm saying? You kind of get to practice being a parent, how
fun.
I mean, it's not fun, but you're practicing being a parent, whether it's with yours or somebody else's. If you've never been a parent, you're still practicing. That's why a lot of kids who are, let's say they have a big age gap between the eldest and the youngest gets entirely different treatment. I mean, Alan talks about it all the time because he was practicing the first time being a parent versus now knowing how to actually be a parent, right? So, I do think that there's some pros to the situation, and it is hard. It is tough. Me, myself, I do have a stepchild. Well, not legally, right? But my girl has a child.
Illegally.
Yeah, illegally. She has a child prior to me. But I will say that there is a difference.
In what? Can you break that down?
There's a difference when you have your child versus parenting another person's child. In terms of like, you can love them and you can love them a lot, but I don't believe it will ever be the same as your own flesh and blood, right? It could be close, but I don't believe it will ever be the same. And it's simply because I would just use the excuse of nature. Like, I can align with my daughter, I feel differently.
Can I ask you a question? How does it work when those two kids are siblings and, there is a difference, like you just said? Like, how do you manage that?
Well, it's challenging. For me,
Not you, but I'm just,
yeah.
you know.
For me personally, it's challenging, but the greatest thing is you notice it. See, like if you had 2 kids, if you just had 1 kid, you wouldn't actually notice, the difference, right? But now because I have my own child in the picture, I now can notice when I'm doing things, maybe I'm not as lenient or maybe I am more lenient. I can make those corrections because I'm being conscious as well of the situation of how raising both of them. Mm-hmm. So I think it's great if you do have another child that's yours inside the same household, so you can then make sure you maneuver and check your behaviors whenever you're either being, like I said, lenient or more lenient. So
do you think that most people like in that situation are actually paying enough attention such that they are saying, oh, I'm treating this one different than that one, and not only recognizing it, but like actually being proactive and taking steps to like manage that and be like, oh, well, I'm being too easy on this one, or I'm being too hard on this one? Like, do most people in the way you're speaking about it,
I don't think so. No. I think most parents don't even know how to decipher the two between their own children. Let alone, stepchild and the regular child.
I was actually just
say it.
So
in the same house.
Right? Same house, same kids, same parents, and you still can't decipher. I mean, for me personally, at a very pivotal point in my life, I had a step parent, right? So
the one you sold your mom out to?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my step parent was and is still a great parent. Whether it was me or whether it was his own. So I think because I had that experience, I'm more so able to balance it differently than somebody who has not had that experience. You know what I mean? So I don't think that everybody is that way. I mean, we always hear the saying, getting treated like a stepchild, and I make sure I'm very conscious of not having that saying in my house. I think sometimes he doesn't understand that I'm harder on him because he's a boy that will ultimately have to be a man. Versus,
he thinks it's something. You think that he thinks it's something different?
Yeah, and I had to tell him, like, listen, I'm hard on you for different reasons. Don't think I'm hard on you because of Violet. You know what I'm saying? I'm hard on you because at the end of the day, you're 11 years old. You should be able to do X, Y, and Z by yourself, and you're a black boy that will be a black man in America. And I know you don't know what that is, but I'm preparing you for it. So like the difficulty that that I have for him is a little bit different because the circumstances are different, but not because the parenting dynamic is different,
Mm-hmm. Based off of your experience, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I've been black in America for 32 years. So, and a black man at that for about, say 11. So, because I wasn't a man, I was a boy.
I was like,
we have a confession.
Did you now consider yourself black? 11 years ago?
So there's a situation I have personally experienced, but not in full, to the hypothetical that we're going to state. Now, let's just say that there's a situation where you have a man and a woman, okay? We're going to use the fact that the woman had a child previous to that relationship. Everybody's following me? And in that previous relationship, in her previous relationship, that was actually the stepfather of that child. So it's not the biological dad. The biological dad is 2 relationships ago.
Okay.
And they were married, though, according to you, remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, not the first. Not the first.
No, the parent.
The step parent, yes.
No, the parent. Wait.
I thought.
Okay, so a woman has a kid with a man.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in the picture. That woman and the kid get into another relationship. She gets married.
Gotcha. Okay.
The kid is only 2 years old. And now
That's his daddy.
From 2 to 6, right? So from 2 to 6, that kid believes that that's his father.
Oh, he doesn't know otherwise?
No, he doesn't know otherwise. Well, he does, but he doesn't. Like they haven't fully like told him, but whatever. Let's just say he believes that that's his father. Yes.
Okay.
They get divorced. Okay. So now the child is still 6. So now fast forward 2 years later, the child is now 8. And now that mom is now in a relationship with another person. But the step parent from the previous relationship still wants to be active in the child's life going forward. What are your thoughts?
But now she's in another relationship.
A completely new
Now
relationship.
she's in a new relationship.
Wait, a third one?
Yeah.
Yes. Like the step parent, they got divorced.
Mhm.
And now 2 years later, she's in a new relationship.
Oh, okay.
This
I
is
got you.
not really that complicated of a situation because I mean,
it doesn't
I've
seem
known
crazy.
situations like this, to be honest. That kid has had the stepfather in his life since 2 years old, growing up to believe, even if that child knows the truth about him being the father or not, that's his dad. To him, this is the man who raised me. So that's my father.
Raised?
Didn't he raise him? 2 to 6, he's been in his life.
But that's 4 years ain't raising no kid.
Okay,
What
come
is
up
it?
in
That's
in
just
very
there.
essential.
Is it babysitting?
Damn near. Hell yeah. Raise, you need at least, I would say, 8 years to raise somebody. Raise. Like,
Okay, well
all I
then
did was get your habits in 4 years.
well then there's this. His father, his biological father, isn't in his life, correct?
It's correct.
Like gone.
Gone out the picture.
Let's just
Right.
say dead.
I don't want to say that. He's gone.
Extinct.
Okay, but now she's not married in a new relationship. She's just in another relationship. So what is she going to do? Keep having different men continue to raise this little kid in different stages of their life? There's this one man that wants to continue raising this child.
But the man and the woman are not together.
Well,
not
no,
only are
I
they not
understand
together,
that.
not only
They
are they
hate each
not
other.
together, they're not even like, they're not. Why would you co-parent with somebody who ain't the real parent?
Well,
Right.
well, let her cook then.
No, because that child needs a daddy.
But we're gonna get a new one.
No. And that's just not cohesive for a child to keep naming someone daddy every couple of years, depending on who his mother is dating. If this is who he grew up with for the past 4 years, okay, he knows that this is my dad.